scaling everything with cores, with GPUs, our TPS capacity is pretty high. So when we did our test at launch, it was about 50,000 TPS.
Wow.
Our validated, but this is literally just due to hardware, right? Like, so since a year ago, our validators that are like super into like PC building, performance optimizations, they have built systems that can do 100,000 TPS, and like last week somebody did a 200,000 TPS system.
Wow.
So for that to actually be impactful in the network, I mean, we need to get that particular set of hardware deployed to, basically all 1,000 validators. And we can do that when there's demand for it. So, one of the use cases that we have that's running on Solana is Serum, which is a central limit order book style exchange. If you look at like NASDAQ, they handle 500,000 messages per second. Vast majority of those are canceled messages. This is how central limit order books work. This is how they do price discovery. This is how everybody maintains, capital efficiency. So that's what Serum does. Majority of the messages they transmit are, cancel messages, like move my price around. If the volumes there grow to compete with Binance, so will the number of messages, and that's when we're going to need the hardware.
So this goes to, I think, a natural question of where do you think this is going to go? And I want to ask this, and I want to frame this around, there's plenty of platforms. There's Ethereum, there's Binance Smart Chain, there's Zilliqa, there's, I don't know, but Cardano, there's all kinds of crap. There's,
yeah.
So how do you kind of cut through all of that and make this a thing? Because there's a lot of things out there.
Yeah. So we're like, the core of what we're building is this idea of the super connected world and censorship resistance. Every optimization we make allows us to grow that set. Every time hardware improves, allows us to grow that set. And that idea is extremely powerful because when you have 8 billion people that are all super connected, there's no moats, there's no middlemen. You literally have the people that want to, do stuff, and the value producers all connected directly with each other without anybody taking a few percentage points and everything in the middle, right? There's no $12 a month bank fees there. That's the world that we're working for. So the kind of community that we built was around that idea, but achieving it with, blood, sweat, and tears, optimizations, hardware, building out this network at a global way. The folks that are participating in this are from, at this point, I think from like every different continent outside of Antarctica. And like they're running validators in Russia, inside the Great Firewall in China, right? Like, so that to me is that future of a super connected world. It needs this ridiculously censorship resistant network. That level of censorship resistance needs to be so high that at a gut level, you don't even worry about it. I don't know what that number is, right? Right now, like that minimum set on TDS is 200. We need to get mainnet to a level where it's like 3,000-4,000 validators in that minimum set that can shut down the network. And then folks like engineers, like chief security officer at Bank of America can look at it and a gut level understand no one's ever going to screw with anything in this universal computer. So I can then put my customers here. I can start building these like next generation banks. It's probably not going to be them. It's going to be a startup that sees that opportunity and it's like, I can basically take over all the business that Bank of America has by using this network. And I have the same security guarantees, if not higher.
Let me just talk about censorship resistance really quick. And can you please, let me rephrase that question. Can you just talk about censorship resistance really quick? And you did a little bit, but I actually want to go about a censorship resistant future. Let's just say hypothetical situation. Solana cuts through all this mess. Banks and the new startups are using Solana. What does that look like? Because I think that when we think about censorship is a broad word with a lot of different definitions depending on where it's applied in what context are you saying censorship resistant?
It's literally like the lowest possible hardware level context. Imagine everybody in the world had a radio that cannot be shut down, right? It cannot be jammed, and they could transmit with infinite power to everyone else. So that means that we're all super connected, right? I can send my message to everyone else in the world, and it's guaranteed to arrive, right? And if I have a bit of cryptography, that message can carry a lot of information and guarantees.